Hello, everyone, and hope you're all having an amazing day or had an amazing day, depending on your current time zone. So, today I'm going to discuss how it's like being a mother to two daughters with disabilities. Going to give you a little bit of a rundown on the most difficult patches in our lives up till date, right? Hopefully, we are past the hardest parts. Obviously, we don't know because, life can obviously throw you a lot of lemons and you have to kind of make lemonade out of it. But just gonna kind of give you a little bit of insight as to what we dealt with, what were the biggest struggles, or what was my biggest struggle, because I'm gonna give you the perspective from the mother's view, where I think I could have done a little bit better, because obviously everything is very different when you go through it, right? Like, it's always, I forget the term, but it's easier to say now what I could have done versus what I actually did, right? Because you don't realize you're going through it until you're actually in it. So definitely going to go over that and going to kind of give you some insight as to what was the roughest time or roughest period in my life when it came to having to kind of juggle all these disabilities, and how I was able to kind of get out of it at the back end, or how I was able to get through it. That's a better way. So hello, hello, hello. For those of you guys that are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kathy, and on Mondays I do videos just about fashion, accessories, just fun things that I enjoy doing to keep my mind off of the second half of the week videos, which are all about my girls and their battles with two diseases: tuberous sclerosis complex, or TSC, being tubers that can grow in any major organ throughout your body, and FSGS being a form of kidney disease, which causes damage to the glomeruli, which is the kidney filtration, which can lead to kidney disease, kidney failure. Unfortunately, it can lead to transplant or dialysis, depending on the disease's progression. So if you're interested in either or, please hit the little subscribe button, hit the little bell so you can be notified on all of my latest videos, and please don't forget to hit the like button and comment below. Let me know what you think of today's video. So let's get started. So if I was to say what was the most difficult time, well, there was two probably. The first one is when I found out that my oldest daughter had kidney disease, and that she was going to have to get a transplant. And the second part, I think, was the hardest, was when, actually probably three parts. The second part was when I was juggling both of the girls, where my oldest daughter was going through all her kidney issues, and we were slowly dealing with just trying to manage what she had left of her kidney functionality, and my youngest going through seizures. So I was literally in the hospital sometimes with both of them in different floors. So that was really, really difficult. And then the third one would be about 4 years ago, where my oldest was on the back end of her dialysis, and it was getting scary, where I didn't know where we were gonna be in a year or so, right? Where she was fighting to get her kidney transplant, or getting on the kidney transplant list so that she could get her kidney. That was probably that was definitely my three most difficult times. Not saying there wasn't any other difficult times, because trust me, there was plenty, but those were definitely like the hardest for me as a mother. Just seeing them suffer, having two daughters suffering with different diseases, or the same disease but different ways that it infect, or it literally impacted each of them. So that was definitely a big one. I think a big part of the times when I felt that I could have done a lot better was recognizing that my oldest daughter had some form of kidney disease, or some kind of kidney issues. I was a young mother, so I really didn't know what I was, I didn't know what she was dealing with. I thought it was just stomach flu, stomach issues that she was having. It wasn't very obvious. Like, she'll wake up with like stomach pains or nauseous. So I would see her dealing with that stuff, and then I would have to, obviously take her in to see the doctor. The doctor would just give her some medication, and we'd, obviously you start all over again, right? So in a few more weeks, she start feeling sick again. So it was kind of like it was an ongoing thing where we were never told straight up, hey, this is what she has, because the doctor wasn't picking up on it. So, and she would get urinalysis. So it wasn't anything like she wasn't getting it. So the doctor would think that she was just losing some protein because she was young. She was in sports or she was doing all this other stuff. So it really did mask, unfortunately, what she truly had, which was kidney disease, and her kidney was shutting down. Um, so from a very young age, I did see that my youngest was having issues with her bladder control and stuff like that. So I did recognize that. So um, I did go in to take her in, and they would tell me, hey, she's fine. They would try to give her different medications, try to adjust stuff, but never did they have any concerns about her protein levels. So that was another thing that I felt that I should have been more of an advocate for my daughter, just because I saw her having all these different issues, and I kind of felt like I should have identified at least some type of common issues that she was having, and maybe pushed on the doctor a little bit more, or be a little bit more tougher on the doctor. I eventually, when we found out towards the end of her kidney issue, where she was pretty much in complete failure, she only had like maybe 20%, I think it was like 20 or 10% of her kidney functions left. That's when her doctor recognized, oh, look, she really has high protein levels. She's really losing a lot of protein. You need to take her to a kidney doctor. So the level of frustration that I have from that is really, really probably the one thing that I still to this day will blame myself for, because I felt like I should have been pushing this further. I should have been recognizing the signs. I should have just figured it out, um, though it wasn't obvious, because I kept taking her to the doctors. Nobody could tell me straightforward what she had. Eventually, we found ourselves, her doctor recommended us to a kidney doctor, a nephrologist, which did a biopsy on her, but just to get any type of appointments, we would have to wait for hours in the waiting room. I mean, it was just, even the doctor, even the nephrologist she referred us to was I mean, the doctor herself was good, but just the whole getting an appointment, waiting in the waiting room, and I have private insurance. It wasn't like, you know, we were we had Medicaid, because I can't imagine families that have to go through Medicaid just to go see a nephrologist. It scares me. Just I really think about these families all the time, and I'm always like, I can't believe that they have to deal with a lot of extra hurdles just to see a good nephrologist, because it's not fair. To me, I think that every person in this country should have great health care, and I think it's important, especially for those people that are dealing with um, organ failure, dealing with these critical diseases and these awful diseases. I just think that obviously, everybody should be able to have at least a healthy life. It's important to me, because I see just sitting in these hospitals and watching these children going through dialysis, watching these babies going through dialysis, and you're sitting there just in tears, just or you walk out the room because it's just too much and overwhelming. Seeing kids that have cancer, seeing kids that are dealing with like the most rare diseases. It's really important, I think, that children should be cared for and should have the medical care they need to be healthy, personally. So that was probably one of the big ones that I regret. I wish I was more of I wish I was more forceful with the doctors and trying to get answers. I just believed them. I trusted them, being young and naive, but I eventually woke up. The nephrologist, I told her I got to go, I got to find someone else. And I went through the whole process, found a phenomenal doctor. Her new nephrologist went right away, got her in, did a biopsy, put her on medications, prolonged her kidney as much as possible, tested me, helped me. I had to lose like 10 to 15 pounds to be eligible to give her my kidney, put me through all the testing. Went through everything. I was a perfect match. I ended up giving her my kidney. So she really didn't even get a chance to get on dialysis. She went straight from losing her kidney function to getting my kidney. So it was a pretty smooth transition when it came to her second nephrologist. So once we figured it out, we were able to kind of go slam slam, and our lives changed completely, obviously, because during that same process was when I found out that Amber did have tuberous sclerosis complex. It was during that same era, right? So it was kind of like boom to like full. It was everything was cool, everything was fine, and then we were literally hitting 120 miles per hour, high speed on the on the interstate, and I mean, literally, it was just insane. So we went from just 50 miles per hour to 120 overnight. So it was really insane. Um, but I think that was probably one of the biggest struggles that I felt. Now, my youngest, I knew she had TSC from the beginning. She was born with tuberous sclerosis. Kind of obviously they both were, but my youngest had signs in utero. She ended up obviously having signs. They were able to see that she had heart. Um, she had some in her heart which were absorbed eventually, which is good. And then they knew there were some indicators. Obviously, she had club feet. They saw that in utero too, so it was a little bit of both. And when I went to check my oldest, that's kind of when I went to check my oldest foot. They told me she had it was called periungual fibromas on her toenails, and that's when I kind of put two and two together and found out that both of my girls had TSC. So that was probably one of the roughest times. The biggest, obviously, like I said, the biggest challenges were managing both diseases at the same time, managing both girls at the same time in their diseases at the same time, because each of them, the disease progressed in a different way. Like one was impacting kidneys, the other one was her brain. So it was just a round of different doctors, nephrologists, neurologists, cardiologists, and then probably one of the big ones too that we used to see were we still see gastro or GI doctors. Those were probably pretty abundant as far as visits towards the later years. So I think the biggest issue that I really had to overcome is understanding that I wasn't going to be able to solve what they had. I wasn't going to be able to fix it. And I think as a parent, you want to just fix it, right? You want to make it better. You want them to feel better. You want to be able to have that power. And unfortunately, with us, it's not healthy as a parent to understand. It's not healthy as a parent to think that we could fix everything, because we can't. When your kid is sick, you want them to feel better right away. When your kid falls down and gets hurt really bad, you want to be able to pick them up and fix the issue, right? You want to be able to fix that boo-boo. When your kid is sad or depressed, you want them to be happy, and you want to do everything you can in your power to make them happy. My youngest daughter, she struggles. The biggest thing right now with my youngest is obviously her learning disability. She does okay, but she struggles tremendously. And with that comes struggling to keep her friends or keep people around because they don't understand her or aren't willing to really get to know her, because she seems off sometimes where she's in her own world. She'd be so drunk sometimes, and which I love about her, but it's difficult to kind of understand that being a friend, where you're asking her to just, hey, focus here, and her attention's over there, So that's definitely a struggle for her. And sometimes she gets sad about that, right? So giving her a hug and telling her it's going to be okay, when in the back of your mind you're thinking, how can I fix this? What can I do? What am I, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. And I have to release that inhibition, as they say, or release that understanding that I can't control everything. So release that control in my mind to say, she has to learn to adapt to the environment, understand that she has to be able to fail in order to, accomplish her goals, understand that she'll get there. Not as fast as the other kids, but she will get there, where she has gotten she's gotten pretty far from where she was. There were times where she would sit in her room if we would tell her, okay, it's time to get off your laptop, or tell her that we have to shut off the TV, and she would lose it. Like, she'd be in the room crying for at least 30 minutes after we take her stuff for the night, because she had to go to school the next day. So from there, and I'm talking about like 30 minutes of straight screaming. So we found, obviously we found out that she had a really bad case of ADHD. So we had to try different medications, and it took us years to really find the right one for her. So it was ongoing. And then the several different types of medications that our kids are on. So managing that, making sure that you have the best coverage. So spending thousands of dollars per year just to make sure that your kids are getting the best treatments. We're trying to see the best doctors, spending hours, countless. And when I tell you, when it came to researching doctors, I mean, I would spend hours trying to find the perfect doctor for the girls. And not only came with the background, like I would literally look up their certifications, their degrees, their studies, where they studied, what's their background, did they have any incidents where they were reported to the, it was just, I was insane with it. When I tell you, it was crazy. And not only that, when I would go visit, I'd come with countless questions, and then I would see if they were the right fit for me, whether it was something that, we came through okay and the communication was good. So it was, I put a lot of time and effort into finding the right doctors for the girls. They've come a long way. I have to say that. My oldest has been through it all. And, I'm just glad that she's in a way better place today. Obviously, she's still dealing with a couple things here and there, but she's in a way better place than she was 3.5 years ago, or 3 years ago now. So I appreciate it. I appreciate everything, where we are today, where we're a little bit more calm. My youngest is no longer having seizures, which is great. We found the right mix for her, the right medication, where she's being consistent with taking her medications, which that was another struggle for us. And then when it comes to my oldest, her finding the right medications, her getting all her surgeries done and completed and feeling so much better. So this is all, this is all like a lot of hard work in the making. So when I say what it's like to be a mom with two girls with disabilities, whenever we accomplish something, it makes me feel that much more appreciative than just a small goal. Like I would say, like winning a baseball game. You feel great. You're proud of your kid. They did a great job. With me is just having that one night knowing that your kid doesn't have to be on dialysis tomorrow. Or having that 2 nights where your kid's not having dialysis, or having that one night where your daughter didn't have a seizure. That's how it feels. Our accomplishes are a little bit, a mother with disabled kids, it's a little different. It's that feeling that she didn't have a bad reaction to a medication where we're rushing her to the hospital, or she's not bleeding out of her nose like, it looks like she was attacked by a shark. Or what it's like for your youngest to fall back onto a tile floor because she had a seizure that locked her up. It's tough, right? It's tough. I don't know how to explain it because I don't know anyone in my family that has to go through what I go through. Obviously there's family members that have children with disabilities. Don't get me wrong. I do have family that does have that. But I don't know anyone that's had a child that was on dialysis, or a child that at 3 years old is locking up having seizures. That I don't know. That I don't have in the family. So it's tough. It's tough. Where we are today, where I am today, I'm happy that they're okay. I'm happy that they're doing a lot better. I'm happy that we continue to progress into the future knowing that they have a good support system around us. I'm scared for their future because it's uncertain. I don't care who you are, whether you have children with disabilities or not. It's uncertain what their futures are going to be, right? Are they going to be okay? I don't know because I can't see the future. I wish I could, but I can't. But again, it's tough no matter what, having children, and if you're like me, just worrying all the time. But when you add that extra thing where, what could happen if I'm not around, and, it's just, you always get nervous and worried. But I know that, they'll be okay. Like I said, we have a strong family bond, and I want to make sure that they have a good future and they have a stable future even if I'm not around. So it's really important. And I think that having kids with disabilities, it ups your urgency to ensure that, you know, they're gonna have the future that they deserve. And I want to make sure that they're happy, healthy, and they have the right people in their lives, so they're gonna make sure that they're good, you know. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it right now. And thank you guys again for checking out my video. Hope you got something out of it today. Hope you enjoyed it. So please don't forget to comment below. Let me know what if you have any questions, and don't forget to focus through and evolve.